Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to learn about the typedef function in the C language. So what is meant by type definition means it is also called as a data type definition. Okay, so we are going to redefine the data type definition here. Okay, suppose a friend is there, a close friend is there, and his name is very difficult to spell. Okay, so then we will call him by the nickname, right? So here the nickname is acting like a alias name or alternate name for the particular person, right? So here we are not modifying the original name of the person. Okay, so to call that person, okay, easily, so we are going to call him by the nickname, right? So similarly here we are using the typedef function. Typedef is a keyword used to create alias name or alternate name for the existing data types. Okay, so normally we are calling the friend by the by his nickname, right? Similarly here we are calling the data type with a alias name or alternate name. Okay, so why we are calling means because the names of the data types become slightly complicated to use in the program. So when the data types become complicated, so if the name of the data type is very complicated to use in the program repeatedly, then we will use the typedef function to redefine the name of an already existing variable. Okay, to redefine the name of an existing variable, so we are going to use the typedef function. So we are going to use the typedef function not only in the primitive data types like integer, float, char, long, double, but also we can use it for the arrays, structures, and pointers. Okay, so we're going to redefine the name of an existing variable, right? So next we will see the syntax of the typedef function. So typedef, existing name and alias name. So we're taking the original name here and then the duplicate name. Okay, so instead of the original name we are going to replace the original name by the duplicate name. Okay, by using the typedef keyword. So typedef with primitive data types. So we are going to use the typedef with the different types of data types, that is primitive user defined data types. So first of all we will see with the primitive data types. So integer is one of the primitive data type. So the syntax for using the typedef keyword is typedef space int space integer. Okay, so if you want to declare the particular data type, so I'm taking the data type int here. So instead of int I'm going to replace this original name by the duplicate name, that is the integer. Okay, so I'm replacing the original name, that is int, by integer. So wherever we have to declare a variable, then instead of using the int, so I'm going to use the integer keyword for the declaration of a variable here. Okay, so this typedef function works throughout the program. So typedef int space data type int as integer, and in the program we are using, instead of int we are using the integer keyword, integer word here, integer a comma b comma c. That means we are declaring three variables a b c as the int variables, and enter two integer numbers. So we are entering the two integer numbers a and b through the keyboard, and then c equals to a into b, that is the multiplication of the two numbers a and b. So c will store the result of the multiplication of two numbers, that is a and b. Okay, so like this we can use the typedef function here. Okay. So next, coming to the typedef with the structures. Okay, so we can use the typedef with the not only with primitive data types but also with the structures, arrays, and pointers. So we will see how can we use the typedef with the functions. So how to declare and define the typedef with the structures. Okay, so first of all we will see the declaration and definition here. Typedef space struct, so type members, we are declaring the data members here. Okay, and then So by closing the struct here, I'm giving the type name. Okay, so the type name I'm giving, followed by type name space t1 comma t2. So t1 and t2 are the two variables. So uh, two members here to access this data members in the structure. Okay, so using the type def, so now there is no need to write struct all over the place. So it not only saves the keystrokes, it also can make the code cleaner, since it provides a very clear abstraction. So this keyword adds a new name for some existing data type, but does not create a new type. Okay, so instead of the here the struct keyword, I'm using the type name here. Okay, so wherever I have to use the structure space the particular variable name, I'm using the type name. So now let us see clearly about with the example. So typedef struct employee we are declaring the name here in the array with 50 bytes length, and in salary, so we are taking the salary of the particular employee as an integer. Okay, so here employee, so employee we are taking as the duplicate name for the employee. Okay, so for the employee we are taking the emp as a duplicate name. So this is the original name and duplicate name. Okay, so instead of using the original name, which is very lengthy, so we're using the shortcut form, that is the emp. So emp space e1, so we're using the object to access the members in the structure. Okay, so enter the employee record, so we'll enter the employee record here with the name and salary. Okay, with attributes name and salary. So employee name, so e1 dot name, we're entering the name through the keyboard and the salary also through the keyboard. Okay, so now it will display the entered name and salary of the particular employee. Okay, so here using the structures we are accessing the members. Here instead of the structure employee, we are using the emp. Okay, so we are replacing the original name by the duplicate name for the definition of the data type. Okay, so next one is a typedef with arrays. So typedef int array of 5. Okay, so we are we are considering typedef space int space array of 5. So int, instead of using the int in the program, we are taking the array of 5. So the syntax is same for all the data types, for primitive as well as array structures and pointers. So instead of using the int type, we are using the array of 5. So wherever we have to use the int in the program, we are replacing it with the array of 5. So after this declaration, array of 5 is an alias of array of 5 integer elements. Okay, so after this, so you can use the array of 5. So it will act as an alias name with the array of 5 integers. So here I am taking 3 variables a, b, c. So in this declaration, a, b and c are arrays of 5 integers. Okay, so now let us see this about with a clear example. So void main typedef int array of 5. So by taking the instead of int, we are going to use the array of 5. So array space list equals to, so we're entering the 5 elements here. So array consists of 5 elements, right? So here I'm taking another object list equals to 5 elements we're entering to the array. So we have to print that 5 elements here. So list elements are, so using the for loop, we have the 5 elements in the array list by using the object here, list of I. Okay, so here list will act as the variable name. Okay, so next one is typedef with pointers. Typedef with the pointers. So we can define the data type definition of the integer as int pointer here using the typedef keyword. Okay, so instead of using the int pointer, we are using the integer pointer. Okay, the name integer pointer we are using. So here if you want to declare multiple declarations in a single statement, then usage of this typedef function in the pointers will play a key role here. Okay, so we have, if you want to define, so if you want to declare a particular pointer variable, then you have to use int star p. So then this p will act as a pointer. Suppose I want to declare multiple pointers here, like int star p and q. So I want to declare two pointers here, p and q. Then if you are going to declare in this way, then it will result in an error. Sorry, it won't result in error, but it will consider the p as a pointer and q as a variable, integer variable. Okay, so in this type of situations, the typedef will play a key role. So instead of the int pointer variable, so int pointer, we are using the int pointer name. Okay, integer pointer name. So instead of this, we can declare the multiple declarations here. So int pointer xyz. So we are declaring the 3 pointer variables here using this int pointer. Okay, so there is no need of again adding the valuate operator here. Okay, so now let us see a small example regarding the typedef with pointers. So void main typedef int star int pointer. So instead of the int pointer operator, we are using the int pointer. Int pointer space pointer a equals to 10. Okay, so a equals to 10. So I am taking a variable a 10, and pointer equals to address of a. So here I am taking a pointer, so which points to the address of the a. So I am taking the address of a as 1000. Okay, pointer which is pointing to the base address of the a. So address of a equals to %u comma pointer. So normally the pointers are defined in the unsigned int format. So that's why I'm taking the %u. Okay, so it will print the 1000. Okay, value of a equals to %d comma value at pointers. What is the value at the pointer operator? 10. So it will print function is similar to the pointers, but here the type definition it will change. So instead of the int star, so we are replacing. So now coming to the next part, that is the difference between the typedef and hash define. Okay, so here both are having somewhat similar properties. So now let us take a look at this, the difference between the typedef and hash define. So here typedef is a limited to giving the symbolic name types, right? So we can give only some symbolic name types, but here using the hash define tag, you can define an alias for values also. So here it is only applicable to the name types, but it is applicable also for the values. Like suppose in the case of the area of circle, so we have to define the pi value. So pi value as 3.14, and the pi value won't change throughout the program for the area of the circle. So pi value is constant, right? So in this type of scenarios, we can use the hash define tag, and interpretation is performed by the compiler in the typedef function, whereas it is performed by the preprocessor. We know that hash define is nothing but if you are having the hash define hash include stdio.h standard library.h. So these are all preprocessor header files, right? So it is done by the preprocessor. So next, typedef function should be terminated with the semicolon. Okay, but there is no need of terminating it with a semicolon in the case of the hash define tag. So typedef is the actual definition of a new type. So we are replacing the a particular data type with a alias name or alternate name, but here it copies the definition values at the point of use. That means it is going to copy the defined values in the hash define tag. Suppose I have given hash define pi 3.14 in the header files, then it is going to copy that value and it will apply all that value in at any point of use. So here typedef function follows the scope rule, which means if a new type is defined in a scope, so that is the local to the function. Okay, so it follows the scope rule. That means the typedef is applicable only for that particular scope. That means within the block, within the local block. But whereas the hash define, so it encodes the hash define, it will hash define, right? So we are defining the hash define in the header file, so it will be available for throughout the program. So the scope is throughout the program. So these are the differences between typedef and hash define. Thanks for watching my video. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.